What's going on, family? It's Dr. Del Toro. I hope and pray you guys are doing wonderfully well on today. Listen, I wanted to come on and share some things with you that I believe are going to be transformational for you as we talk about this conversation today. And I just want to kind of hang out with you. So I hope you don't mind if we just take a few minutes and chat about this conversation of high achievement. I got to be really transparent with you all. Um, a lot of you all see me as this super successful brand and all that great stuff, which is awesome. I'm grateful. But, I know for a fact that for many years, I didn't identify myself as a high achiever. I didn't identify myself as someone who was a high achiever. Even though I was doing a lot of stuff, I didn't necessarily identify myself as a high achiever. Can anybody relate? Can you relate to sometimes not always feeling like a high achiever? You can be kicking butt and taking names and making a lot of great things happen, but not always feel like a high achiever. And if you guys don't mind sharing this broadcast, I'd really appreciate it, because I just want to hang out with y'all a little bit Saturday morning. And I just wanted to um, just share my heart with you for a few minutes, because I really believe so oftentimes, y'all, we don't get a chance to have a safe space as people who are kicking butt and taking names to talk about some of the challenges that come along with being a high achiever. And the truth is, y'all, there are struggles that we have as high achievers, because the truth is, um, a lot of times, y'all, we don't get a chance to take off the mask. We're so busy constantly having to be on for everybody. Have you ever felt like that? I mean, just talk to me, fire off in the comments, fire off and let me know that you're there. But have you ever felt that pressure to always have to be on? Chanel, having to always have to perform, having to always have to have it all together, having to always have to um, be the go-to person. And here's the truth, y'all: when you're the go-to person, it's not you're not just the go-to person at work. You're the go-to person at home. You're the go-to person in your job. You're the go-to person in your career. You're the go-to person in your community, in your neighborhood. There is a lot of pressure, um, Dr. Anna, to be amazing. And that pressure, y'all, is real. Um, I felt it this week. Things are going incredible in the business and in the brand, but there is a constant pressure to outperform yourself, a constant pressure to take it to the next level, to outdo what you've already done. And sometimes the last thing that you did was incredible. Um, and and you're like, man, how do I top that? Can anybody relate to what I'm talking about? Just fire off in the comments or give me some hearts or something if you can identify with what I'm talking about, because I want to have a transparent conversation with you about high achievement. And I'll tell you for myself, I was raised by two incredible parents. My folks divorced when I was very early in my life. At the age of 2, my parents got divorced, and I love my mother and I love my father dearly. And they both have been remarkable leaders and trailblazers in my life, and I don't fault them for any of the choices that they made. However, I remember growing up as a kid, and I had a lot of trouble academically. And some of y'all might not know this about me, about my story, but when I was in the 5th and 6th grade, I was told that I had no academic potential. In the 5th and 6th grade, I was told that I was slow, I was dumb. I was put into a classroom full of all at-risk kids, and I was told that I had no academic potential. True story. I was skinny. I was small. I had the same size lips when I was in the 6th grade. So I had to grow into these soup coolers. So I had a lot of self esteem and self confidence challenges growing up. So the last thing I ever thought was that I was going to be some high achiever. And I remember being in a class full of all at risk kids, and they were basically wrote off our future and said that we weren't going to produce much. And my first Black teacher, her name was Miss Diane Williams. Um, she approached me on the first day of class and she said, I don't know why I'm saying this to you. And to this day, and she and I are still cool. She lives in California, but She said, I don't know why I'm saying this to you, but you are not a youth at risk. You are a youth at promise. And when she said that to me, something went off in me. And I remember being a kid wanting to I wanted to make my mark. I wanted to touch the world in a special way, even as a kid. I wanted to be a member of Boys to Men. I wanted to be one of MC Hammer's backup dancers. So I remember even as a kid, I was always drawn to people who were the best at what they did. I was drawn to Boys to Men. Boys to Men was the best at what they did. At that time, I was drawn to MC Hammer. He was the best at what he did. Um, and I remember being drawn to the energy of an MC Hammer when he hit the stage. I remember being drawn to the harmony, the four-part harmony that Boys to Men had when every time they sang. And I remember just being interested in that. But I was in school, I was being told that I was not a high achiever. And I also remember wanting to get my dad's attention. Mm. Now, me and my dad are best friends, but I remember my dad was a busy professional at the time. And I knew that if I did good in school, that maybe my dad would show up to school and maybe he could take me to lunch. So I remember in the early stages of my childhood, I performed well, not just to make my mom proud, but I wanted my dad to show up and pull that wheelchair out of the back of his car and situate himself out of his car into his wheelchair because my dad's been in a wheelchair longer than I've been alive. And I wanted to see my dad wheel himself down the aisles of my school to go sit in the principal's office and guidance counselor's office and talk to me about how good of a job I did. So I remember as a kid um, performing to get my parents' attention, performing to get my father's love and affection. Um, I remember um, just wanting validation, wanting to be affirmed, um, wanting to be seen, um, wanting to count, and wanting to matter. And my dad did a lot of great things. I mean, he showed up at talent shows. He showed up at major plays, and my mom would show up and all that good stuff. And but I guess for me, y'all, I learned at an early age that for me in the beginning, achievement was about not only wanting to make my parents proud, but for me, achievement was about, hey, look at me, I can do something right, I did it right, you know, you know, maybe this achievement will get you to spend some time with me. Maybe this achievement will get us to go somewhere special. This achievement will earn me love. So I grew up with what's called performance based love, a mindset that I was not enough in and of myself, that I needed to achieve. Can anybody relate to what I'm talking about? I know it's a Saturday morning and all that, but I need to know if there's anybody out there who can relate to what I'm saying right now. So I didn't know this as a kid, but what was happening was I was developing what psychologists call a performance based love identity, which means that your love comes as a direct result of how you perform. And if you perform well, you'll get love. If you don't perform well, you won't get love. And not only did I develop that in school, at some point I began to believe that that's how God saw me. So if things were going good in my life, I felt that God loved me. And when things weren't going good in my life, I felt like He didn't love me. I know I'm not the only one who's ever thought like that or felt like that because I was in a performance based view of love. Can anybody identify with what I'm talking about? And then all of a sudden, somewhere years down the road, years later, business later, life later, relationships later, and on top of all that, I was a giver, right? I'm a giver, I'm a nurturer, I'm a cancer, right? And so, unfortunately, being a giver, being a nurturer, being a cancer, I was always overextending myself in romantic relationships because my parents were very busy. So I learned at an early age. Not only was I performing to get the attention and the validation, performing so that I felt God was proud of me, but then I was overextending myself to people who were always busy. So for me, what I linked up as early as a kid was that love means overextending yourself for people who don't always extend it back. And guess what happened? Takers, leeches got a hold of that's how who I was, and they took advantage financially, emotionally, relationally. And so everybody talks about the high achievement of best-selling books and television and all the amazing things, conferences and events and all that stuff that we've done. But I need you to understand something powerful. Somewhere in my early 30s, the light bulb finally went off for your boy. I started going to therapy after several failed relationships and after being exhausted with the church and being exhausted with church gymnastics, being a Christian, being saved, loving God, knowing I'm splitting heaven wide open, but just being tired of the gymnastics of the traditional church structure. Having done every major faith-based ministry thing you could imagine, I've done it. Been on every major Christian network, you name it, I've been on it. But having done that whole circuit, I got to a place where I was exhausted, family. I was burnt out. And I finally learned in therapy. And this is one of the reasons why I need you to come and hang out with me at the end of June. I learned that there was a different type of love that I deserved. And it wasn't a performance based love, it was what Dr. John Maxwell calls a position based love. And what I learned was I deserve to be loved for who I am, not for what I do, not for how I perform, not for how I show up, not for how amazing, not how many books I can write, not for how many television appearances I can be on. I, Dell, not Delatoro, not the brand, not the cape, not the superhero, not the peak performance expert, but me. I deserved to be loved for who I am because I was God's son. But position based love, because I'm a great son. My mother loved me. My mom passed away 9 years ago. My mom loved me for Tori. Tori is my childhood nickname. That Tori deserved to be loved because he's Tori, not because he's some world renowned guru. Right. And so I learned that God loved me because I was his son, not because I had all these titles and all these positions and all this property and assets and all that other stuff. That really doesn't matter because I've never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse, which means none of us can take it with us when we go. Not a single one of us can take it with us when we go. And so for me, family, I learned that I was loved just because of who I am. And I want everybody to do me a favor. If this is resonating with you on any level, just do me a favor and type in the comments, I am enough. Just Just in the comments, type in I am enough. Um, there's a worship song called Jireh. And one of the things that I love about that song is the very middle portion of the song where it says, um, I'm already loved, I'm already chosen, I know who I am, I know what you've spoken, and that is enough. Um, and I just want to remind every one of you all that you are enough. And I want you to journal about that every single day, that you are enough as you are, and you are loved because of your position, not because of your condition, not because of your job, your role, your responsibility, not because of all the backflips that you do, not because of all the things that you manifest for other people. You are enough as you are. Because you are a child of God, you are loved. You are made a little bit lower than the angels. If you're made in the image and likeness of a more than enough God, that means that you are a more than enough child. And I don't know why, and I do know why, but I'm grateful to some dear friends who encourage me to peel back some layers and show you behind the scenes, behind the curtain, underneath the hood. Y'all, that although on social media we see a lot of great stuff, a great achievements and accolades and accoutrements and all this great stuff, I need you to understand that you are worthy, you are awesome, you are amazing, and you are enough as you are. So I want every one of you all to strongly, urgently consider coming to spend some days with me in person so we can take off the mask. We can take off the cape. We can take off the titles. We can take off the position. We can take off, because y'all, here's the truth. It's it's a lot. Y'all, if we made it through a 2-year pandemic, I know for a fact, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you have gone through a lot these last 2 years, most of which you have not talked about, most of which you have had to sweep under the rug, most of which, can I get some hearts and likes on that one? Most of which you've had to just get up the next day and act like it didn't hurt you, act like it didn't harm you, act like it didn't offend you, act like it did not bother you, but you and I both know it did. And we are raised in an environment where therapy is a cuss word. We're raised in an environment where trauma is considered a taboo. Where if you've been through trauma, you're considered a dented can. Has anybody ever felt like a dented can before? Anybody other than me? Come on, somebody. Have you ever felt like even though you were crushing it according to everyone else's standards, internally you didn't feel like you were crushing it? Have you ever been too hard on yourself? Come on, y'all. I mean, let's just be honest. Let's just talk about this thing. Have you ever realized that? Guess what? I'm beating myself up. I don't. Is anybody here know that you don't give yourself nearly enough grace? You don't practice what's called in therapy radical self acceptance, right? Where you just take the time to own. Susie Orman says, she calls it standing in your truth, just owning who you are, flaws and all, stretch marks and all. Come on, somebody. Birthmarks and all. Can I get a shout? Come on, somebody. Failures and all. Because here's the truth, and this is why I created the Full Throttle Experience. I created the Full Throttle Experience because high achievers need a place of solace. Somebody write that in the comments for me. High achievers like us, like the people who are watching this broadcast right now, who are resonating with every single thing I'm saying to you right now. Have you ever made a poor relationship decision because you weren't validated enough as a child? Because you didn't feel like you were enough, because you didn't feel loved enough, because you didn't feel appreciated enough. Anybody ever been there? Have you ever made a poor decision in business? Have you ever made a bad decision with your money? Have you ever spent money emotionally because you were trying to fill some void? Have you ever overeaten emotionally because you were trying to fill a void, or you used some other, what's called a coping mechanism to numb the pain of not feeling seen, heard, validated, appreciated? Y'all, that is why I created the Full Throttle experience. I know you see on social media, you see motorcycles and you see people crowd surfing and you see people doing all this stuff. And my friend, that's all real. But I need you to understand that the reason why I created this experience for us at the end of June is because I wanted to rally together people who cry in silence. And that's you. Because high achievers, you know what we have to do all the time? We have to lead while we bleed. And I wanted to create a space that I did not see existed. I wanted to create a space where high achievers can come together and learn and grow and heal and transform and bond. But guess what? Here's the truth. High achievers will only take off our mask for if we're around others that are like us. We won't do it if we see a single low achiever. We won't do it. You know why? Because we get into performance mode. But at the Full Throttle experience, it's a safe space. It's a safe space, my friend. And so I want somebody to type it in on the comments on all platforms. On Instagram, type it in for me. On Facebook, type it in for me. I need every one of you all to take a simple action. I just want you to go to fullthrottle2022.com and just say yes. Just surrender to an experience for 3.5 days where you can be around other like-minded people. Just www.fullthrottle2022.com and put yourself in an environment, y'all, where we can be around earth, air, fire, and water. And we can be around the four elements, and we can reconnect with our being, not just our doing and not just our having. Everybody wants to flash on social media all they're having, but what about our and what we're doing? You know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, which is awesome. But what about our being? What about our being? What about the fact that we're human beings and not just human doings? Right? I'll type it in on Instagram for you guys. I want you guys to put yourself in an environment where you can really do the work. Many of you guys know I'm the author of this incredible best-selling book. It's called Shift into a Higher Gear. And you know what's funny to me, family, is that um, when the book came out and I was on the Today Show and I did all these incredible appearances, the number one question that people asked me was, "How did you get on the Today Show?" And I always tell people that that's the wrong question. The better question is, who did I have to become? Who did I have to be in order to write the book that would attract an appearance on the Today Show? See, the truth is, everyone wants what you have, but they're not willing to go through what you did. And most people aren't willing to become who you became. And once you become the person that does the thing, then you will have the outcome. The reason why we want you to come hang out with us is because we want to put you around other people who can help you become the person that will do the thing so that you can have the outcome that you want. And I believe that you're only one shift away from your biggest breakthrough. Family, I believe it in my heart and soul that you're only one shift away from your biggest breakthrough. And the reason why so many of us struggle with trying to get it to that next level, the reason why, Heather, you and I both know this to be true, the reason why we make poor relationship decisions, the reason why we stay stuck in a pathology with our money, with our relationships, with our mindset, sometimes even with the circle that we surround ourselves with, is because internally we haven't owned the fact that we are enough as we are. I know you want to improve and I know you want to get better, but you got to love you for where you are right now in order, because if you don't fall in love with you now, and if you delay, watch this. I love something that Deepak Chopra talks about. He says the reason why most of us are unhappy is because we're postponing our happiness to a future date. And the problem with us as high achievers, you know what we do? We constantly postpone happiness till we get the goal. And what Deepak teaches us is to watch this. He says you must learn to be present, and you must learn to love the present version of yourself. How much you weigh right now, how you look in the mirror butt naked right now, how much money's in your bank account right now, the doors, the opportunities, the connection. You got to love you in your current state, because only a loved current view can produce that future you that you want. And we think that a depressed, frustrated, beating ourselves up version of us today can produce the version we want tomorrow. No, learn to love you now. Learn to love you right now. Isn't that right, Nicole? Come on, Martine. We have to learn how to love where we are right now. And watch this. So let's go back to one of the core principles we teach at Full Throttle is that you are allowed to be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the exact same time. You are allowed to be, come on, Natalie, a work in progress and a masterpiece at the exact same time. And when you take that masterpiece and you take that work in progress and you put them two together, now you have namaste. Now you have, I see the God in you and you see the God in me. Love who you are right now. And so it is. Is this resonating? I know it is. Share this broadcast and do yourself the favor right now. I just want you to take one baby step. You wouldn't be watching this if it wasn't resonating with you. Take one baby step. Go to fullthrottle2022.com and click the register button. I don't care which registration level you pick. I don't care which payment plan you pick. Just lock in your spot and meet me in the number one beach in America, Clearwater. I'm going to be there the end of June, June 29th, which just so happens to be my 45th birthday, through July 3rd. And let's celebrate freedom together. Let's learn about and then celebrate freedom together, occupational freedom. You're going to learn how to love what you do every day. And you're going to learn how to disconnect from any occupation, job, career, or business that does not allow you to love what you do. I know tons of entrepreneurs who make money, but they don't enjoy what they do. There's a lie. A lot of people think that, as soon as you quit your job and you start a business, now you're in love with you're living your passion. That's a lie. I know a lot of entrepreneurs who have a business, but they're not living their passion. So we're going to learn how to experience occupational freedom, emotional freedom, the way you experience emotional freedom. 4th of July weekend, family. Let's celebrate freedom up in here. Who wants more emotional freedom? Where every single day, the engine of the motorcycle of your life should be gratitude. We love motorcycles because of that purr of the engine, that roar of the engine. Well, guess what? The engine of the motorcycle of your life must be gratitude. So, what better place to celebrate gratitude than being around other high achievers who are also learning how to excel and grow and be high achievers? I'm still learning what it means to be a high achiever. And high achievement does not mean that you get it right all the time. Blessings and greetings all the way from Brazil. Sandra, I appreciate you for checking us out. Listen, I really want you to understand something. High achievement does not, Pakistan, I see you. Come on, Mashi, I appreciate you. High achievement doesn't mean you get it right all the time. I have failed plenty of times. I have failed plenty of times. You guys saw me, watch this. You guys saw me fail earlier this year. I set a goal to sell 8,000 copies of a book in 7 days. And guess what, family? We didn't hit the goal. We didn't hit the goal. We only sold around 6,000 copies of the book that week. But the goal was to hit the New York Times bestseller list that week. We didn't hit it. But guess what we did do? We hit several other lists on the way. That's why if you shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you will be among the stars. UK is in the building. Jason Jones, bless you, buddy. Appreciate it. Vince, come on, somebody. So, y'all, we have to understand that just because you're a high achiever, just because you're a peak performer, just because you're an influencer, doesn't mean you're always going to succeed. Doesn't mean you're always going to get it right. Doesn't mean that you're always going to. Sometimes you are going to fall flat on your face. Sometimes you are going to fall in public, in front of people. You're going to fail in front of people. And then what do? Sometimes as a high achiever, guess what? You get so excited. How many of y'all as high achievers have ever achieved a goal and you thought, man, once I achieve that goal, I'm going to have XYZ feeling. And so you work so hard to get the goal. And then guess what? You get the goal, but that feeling that you thought was going to last for months lasts for minutes. And you're like, oh, what the hell? What do I do now? What the heck do I do now? I spent all this energy waiting for this achievement so that I can have this feeling. And the feeling comes and it goes as quick as it came. Now what? What is your meat and potatoes? What is your protein? What is your vegetables now that the feeling has gone? And speaking of that, y'all, so many of us have so many achievements that have not gone celebrated. That's why at the Full Throttle Experience, we're going to learn, we're going to grow, we're going to learn how to live life the bike way. We're going to learn how to shift into drive and avoid those other 3 gears of mediocrity. We're going to learn how to lean into excellence. We're going to learn how to shift our position, to shift our condition. We're going to learn how to get out of excuses to living powerful declarations. We're going to learn all those things. But at the same time, we're also going to go through healing modality sessions. We're going to go through morning meditations. We're going to go through wellness sessions. We're going to spend time in the ocean. We're going to spend time watching sunsets together. And and there's going to be 2 parties. So we're going to break boards and we're going to do all this experiential amazing stuff. But then there's 2 parties we've built into the experience of the conference. Why? So that you can celebrate all your wins. Because the truth is, and I want every one of y'all to be honest, how many of you all have a lot of wins as a high achiever, but a lot of them you haven't even reported, you haven't even posted, you haven't commented about them. And the part of the reason why you don't is because you know that when you share that win, a lot of people won't be happy for you. I'm gonna wait on that one. How many of you all will be honest with me in the comments right now? You under promote your wins because you know that the truth is a lot of folks aren't really going to be happy for you. Why? Because Dr. Stephen Covey taught me this a long time ago. He said the truth is most people don't really feel happy for your good news because secretly they wish it was happening to them. And so sometimes, y'all, what happens to us is we learn over time not to celebrate our wins, not to celebrate our victories, because we constantly have to battle with and deal with the fact that other people can't handle our success. Well, guess what? When you come to the Full Throttle Experience, it's not a jealous person in the room because we celebrate each other's wins. We celebrate each other's achievements. I'm happy that you made $1 million. I'm happy that you built your list to XYZ. I'm happy that you create you're a better father this year. And I want to speak to that. This is the final thing I'm gonna say. There's so much that I can say, but this is the final thing I'm gonna mention. And I think it's really worth sharing real quick. Is that achievement is open ended. My friend, I think we live in this social media world that says achievement, high achiever, means that you have to have $1 zillion in the bank. I need you to understand something powerful that's so crucial. If you're a great parent, you're a high achiever. Come on, can I get some hearts and some comments on that one? Come on, Nikki. Come on, Christina. Come on, Ken. Come on, and Marin. Right? If you're a great parent, you are a high achiever. If you're a great volunteer for your nonprofit, you are a high achiever. If you sit on the board of an organization and you make a difference, you're a high achiever. If you're a faithful member of your church, synagogue, or mosque, you're a high achiever. If you get up every day with joy and love in your heart, and you smile and you share godly love with the planet, you are a high achiever. High achievement is not simply how much money is in your bank account. It's not based upon the car you drive. It's not based upon the neighborhood that you live in, the gated community that you have or don't have. If you've ever followed my brand long enough, you know the cat don't care about all that stuff. The cat just wants good food. You are a high achiever if you love yourself and you treat others. Scripture says, love your neighbor as yourself. You're a high achiever if you show and you share godly love to the planet. All the accoutrements are great. They're nice, right? But at the end of the day, love. Lead with love. Write that down. Everybody put that in the comments for me. Lead with love and put yourself around other people. Y'all, the world has opened up over the last couple of months. And I know a lot of you all have gone to concerts and comedy shows and trips and some vacations and all kind of stuff. Now, I've gone to a couple concerts. I've gone to a couple comedy shows. I've gotten, quote, back out there. But now I'm ready to get around other high achievers, and I'm ready for us to laugh together and cry together and hug each other genuinely and high five each other and get into a space where we can learn and grow together and build together. You know, Tony Robbins taught me something about 20 years ago that's fared me pretty well in business. He says, any moment you're inspired, in the moment of your inspiration, take an action step in the direction of your inspiration. So if this morning share, this morning live has blessed you, and I know it has, take one simple action step in the direction of your inspiration and say, I want more of that and I need more of that. And I know that's just the tip of the iceberg, Rochelle, for what I know Michelle, Dr. Del Toro, and his team and his guest faculty have in store for me at the Full Throttle Experience. And I'm just going to say yes. That's all life, God, the universe, source, divine intention, whatever you want to call it. That's all it's looking for from you is your yes. There's a song that says, if you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. If you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. Take my heart, Lord, and my feet. Touch my heart, Lord, speak through me. If you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. Right? The whole notion of that song is, my answer is yes. Say yes to life more. Say yes to opportunities more. Say yes and let the rest figure itself out. Click the button, register for the conference. Don't worry, the kids will have a babysitter, right? You'll get the time off. It's 4th of July weekend. You're good anyway. Everything will work out. But take the baby step of saying, I'm going to be in Clearwater the end of June with Dr. Del Toro and his amazing team. And I believe that my life is going to transform. Somebody put that in the comments. My life is about to transform. But my friend, you got to put yourself in the space where it can happen. And that's what we're excited for you. God bless you, Billy. Appreciate you for joining. Listen, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. Hope you've gotten a lot of great value out of it. I just wanted to come on here and share on this early Saturday morning and add value to you. You are a high achiever, even on the days when you don't feel like it. Even in the days when your bank account doesn't tell you that. Even on the days when your current circle doesn't tell you that. You are a high achiever. You are a difference maker. You are a trailblazer. You are a soul stirrer. You are an influencer. You are essential. You are crucial. You are necessary. You are loved. Okay? So if this has been a blessing to you guys, just fire off some thank yous and share this broadcast with other people in your community, and share this link with other people in your community. Say, hey, I just was on this incredible live. This is the guy that taught it. Listen to what he's talking about. I guarantee it'll resonate with you. Meet me in Florida at the end of June. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be transformational. My friend, this is your invitation to come hang out with us in person. No virtual option, no streaming option. Put yourself in the room where transformation happens, and it happens at full throttle. I'm grateful for each and every one of you all. Thank you for allowing me to share. Thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable. Thank you for allowing me to be transparent. Thank you for receiving this content. And thank you for being the soil that is rich enough to be able to receive it. I'm excited about your next level. I'm excited about your future. Let's make the rest of this year the best of this year. And let's make the rest of our lives the best of our lives. You're one shift away from your next biggest breakthrough. God bless you. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Ken. Thanks to my entire FTX leadership team. Thank you for the Platinum team, all the folks that support the Dr. Del Toro brand. I appreciate you guys. You are loved, celebrated, appreciated. Michelle, appreciate you. And we cannot wait to continue to take it to the next level together. Love you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Rock out, and we'll talk super soon. Peace.